We'll be with y'all in just a minute. Waiting on a few folk to come on in. Hey everybody, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on, Biggs? Thanks for joining. Y'all know the deal.
Twin.
Tag somebody, share, so we can talk about what we need to talk about. Thanks for y'all who's on tonight, though. Thank y'all. I appreciate you. We're in a different spot. It's kind of bright, but it brings out the colors in us and our melanin.
Yeah.
Our melanin, excuse me.
But yeah. That Ric Flair.
Yeah, come on in. We'll get started here in a second. Come on in. Hey, let me know who's on.
Come on in the room.
Let me know who's on.
Master Show.
All right, y'all. Thank you for joining. Those who will catch the replay, I appreciate you for joining us. Listen, thank you for joining the Lounge Talk. It is me and my boy Pernell Maxwell, a.k.a. the Urban Doctor. It's your boy James, a.k.a. the Rev, whatever you feel like calling me. Hopefully it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about something that a lot of us don't like to do, especially if we some hitters out there, we some go-getters, dependable people. We're going to discuss the word no tonight. So the word no, case in point, let's say somebody hits you up and says, hey, can you do this X, Y, and Z? And you say, yeah, I can do it, knowing good and well your day is booked, knowing good and well you already got a family to tend for, you got things that you're obligated to do, you have a list, you got your study time with the Lord, your prayer time with the Lord, being a busybody, but you decide to add to your plate. Sometimes we got to get to a place, and I know it's uncomfortable because we're so dependent. We understand how it feels to be rejected, but it's not necessarily a rejection. We have to understand to take care of ourselves. We have to tell people no. Nah, I can't do it, man. I'm sorry. I got other things I got to take care of, man. But I wish you the best.
Yeah.
It's okay to tell people no. All right, so that's what we're talking about tonight. Listen, tag a busybody. Tell them to get on tonight because we got to discuss that word no. I know it's one of the bad words we don't like to talk about.
Yeah.
But we got to discuss it. One of the main reasons why people is checking on out of here because they don't say the word no.
Right.
Your health, people health, they put it on the back burner. They put their mental health on the back burner. It's time to raise up and say, listen, I can't do it. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Pete do his intro on what he want to talk about. But we got to talk about this 2-letter word that can save many of us.
Yeah.
It's called the word no. Go ahead, Pastor P.
Oh, well, now I don't know about the pastor part. That's my daddy. It's my pops, man. But appreciate y'all again for tuning in tonight. I'm gonna be honest. This subject is a toughie for me because I'm one of those that, you know, I try to help out as many people as possible, right? So at times it's hard to say no, but over the years I've learned and I've become better with saying the word N-O with capital letters, all caps. But you know what I've noticed too is a way in which you do it. But I'll start off like this. I guess my backstory. You know, when you are a kind-hearted person or you want to see everybody win,
right,
it's real easy to lend a helping hand. There's a lot of songs out here, you know, what's the lend a helping hand, help me understand. Well, one of my favorites is on Toy Story, you got a friend in me. do. One of my favorite songs, and we have been encouraged, and not saying it's bad, but we've been encouraged to help the next person or one another. And sometimes it's hard to say no, especially to loved ones, you know, your mom, your pops, you know, your brother, sister, cousin, niece, nephew, wife, husband type thing, you know. So, in order to create a healthy boundary, I ask myself, hey, man, what you got going on? You got to be honest with yourself as far as your scheduling. And also, too, I've become selective of those who I help. And by that, it's not a dig, but I don't mind helping people who are helping themselves, right?
Right.
So if you are a habitual person that continues to come and have your hand out or asking for help, it can become taxing on a person, especially if they don't have it all together themselves.
Right.
So that's kind of something I look for if I do plan to say yes to a person. First and foremost, is this person like really trying to help themselves? Are they save his finances? Are they going to work? Do they have a job? Are they doing something?
Have they put in an application?
Have they put in an application? Are they doing something legally, hopefully, to generate funds, right? We kind of talked about that a little bit on the last podcast about the financial aspect, you know, loaning money to a friend. If you keep coming back to me week after week or every 2 weeks, because you know when I get paid, that's a problem, right? And it shouldn't get to the point to where you know when I get paid, and that's the only time I'm seeing your text messages or your phone calls because you need some financial assistance. Like now I'm your institution or bank, and you come in to make withdrawals, right? And that could be dangerous depending on who you playing with that. But again, step one for me is this person really helping themselves? And if the person isn't helping themselves, then the word no is real easy for me. But if I have a relationship, and even if I don't, because this is something I had to learn, because, you know, usually we might catch an attitude depending on what day it is, and we be like, hell no, I ain't helping you. You know what I'm saying? So who you think you're talking to? Why are you even asking me? Right? And it could come off offensive to the other person. They could feel like, all I doing was asking, bruh, dang. You know what I mean? But it's a respectful way to say no. And for those who are continually need help, then I try to help them with information or knowledge, so they can better their environment or their lifestyle. All right. So I might help them the first time, but you keep coming back and be like, say, player, who else on your list you gonna call? Because I ain't got it. All right. But, I've noticed too. I'm sorry, going on a tangent, James, because it's really, you got to be able to, and this is a tough one. You got to be able to tell yourself no, too, in some instances. The better word that comes to mind is you have to have a level of discipline. So, like James said, being honest with yourself, knowing you got a family to spend time with, take care of, you got your job, and try to balance it all, and then somebody you care for or love or some quote-unquote sometimes take advantage of you, it'll have you running ragged.
Right.
Right. So you got to be able to be honest with yourself, tell yourself no, like, nah, I can't do that. I'll be tired at the end of the day while they reaping all the benefits. So be honest with yourself, love yourself, like James said. It messes with your health. Again, the lack of saying no, like we did last week, it could become a drug. You'll walk around and be like a zombie out in these streets if you don't choose wisely. Again, I love this day and age that we're in because it's the day and age of knowledge. If you really want some, you can get some. Researching vis-a-vis your cell phones or books, and really tap into the resources. If you go to your phones today, I just looked up some, and it says, why is it important to say no? And below it says the power of saying no. So there is power in it. It can be good and it can be bad depending on how you take it. But in this case, it's good. It says this has a tremendous effect on our mental health, as it allows us to value ourselves more. It also helps us to prioritize ourselves and can lead us to new opportunities that wouldn't have been achievable by saying yes. It also allows us to set boundaries.
Wow.
So if you get in the habit of, and I'm not saying just tell everybody no, just all the time, just no before they even get it out. But
no.
If you establish healthy boundaries, then you'll start seeing that you now have more energy to achieve certain goals that you might not even know that you had at the time. One of my favorite quotes is, "The dream don't come assembled." So after you dream your dream, when you get up, if you're really passionate and you care about it, now it's time to actively put a plan of action together and make it happen. So when you ain't out helping cuz or your brother and sister all the time, now you got time to actually build yourself. And I've said this statement on here before. The collective is only as strong as the individuals in it, right? So if we on the team or we making something work, I got to be as strong as possible, right? So I can have something to give. And if I give you what I ain't got, then I'm depleted while you running around here sweet, So if you love me and you respect me, first, if I love and respect myself, then you'll respect the fact that, hey, I'm building me, no super selfishness like being conceited, but I'm trying to create a healthy boundary. So maybe when somebody does call on me in the future, I have the energy and / I'll have the time. But it's being able to articulate / communicate that to whoever you're telling no, without like really stepping on their toes, You just point them in the right direction as best as possible.
Want to add to just a little bit, just a taste, just a little smidget. So when I think about the word no, often I come across when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane, and it's going to kind of tie in because we look at it as Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane. He was in agony. The Bible says that it was so bad that it was like drops of sweat of blood coming from his face or coming from his head. And Jesus prayed this prayer. He said, Father, if it be thy will, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but let your will be done. So that speaks a lot of volume. Because Jesus puts his own agenda aside and says, God, I'm going to let you have your way, or let you have your will, because this is the total will that you want to have. Yeah. The word no, now I'm going to bring this into to our situation, because a lot of times we step out of the will of God if we don't say no. What do you mean? A lot of times we put God's vision on the back burner. We put God's plan for us to the back burner. Yeah. We don't build ourselves up. We constantly are being God to other people. We can do that. We can cripple other people. Yeah. It may be God's will for them to be dependent on him, but we get in God's way sometimes because we don't say no.
For sure.
And a lot of times we got to get to a place to where we don't have the God complex. Meaning that, I got to be there. They was there for me back in the day when the homies was, listen, I understand that, bro. But listen, you got priorities first. I need you to not be God to other people. That is so hard for us. Yeah. We got to be there for our brother. We got to be there for our cousins. We got to be there for our mama, our daddy, our sister, everybody. And sometimes that can become toxic. Yeah. And that is not God's will for your life. And so no sets boundaries. Mm-hmm. No gives you an opportunity to let them hear God for themselves. I got children, and one day they're going to be adults, God's willing, that I get to see that. They're going to be adults. They're going to be grown or college students, and they're going to ask for handouts and handouts and handouts. But there's going to be a point in time that I may have the resources, but I have to say, no, I need you to learn how to depend on the Lord. Yes. Because if I keep giving you handouts and one day I'm not here, you're going to be looking for a handout and it's not going to be there. Yeah. And so no sometimes builds people's faith. No builds people's faith. I'm reminded what Paul says, Lord, can you take this thorn away from me? He prayed it 3 times. And Jesus says, my grace is sufficient for you. Mm-hmm. What is he saying? I'm not going to take it away. I'm going to let you endure this because it's going to build your faith. Because in your weakness, my strength is made perfect. No is an assistance of letting people know that you have to be dependent on God. Yeah, I understand your light bill due, but I got mouths to feed. And listen, I've loaned you this before. You're going to have to learn how to be dependent on God. Right. I can't be there for you all the time. And so many times we want to be there for folk all the time, and we're crippling them. Right. And we know when it's crippling. When we're exhausted, that's when we're crippling somebody. Or somebody's always relying on you. Oh, I know they're gonna show up for me. Let me go. Right. Yo, go-tos. And there's nothing wrong with having go-tos, y'all. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is when it becomes toxic and taxing on your body, you have to let people know, I can't do it. I know one time, it was a while ago, Crystal had to be the light bulb for me. I was minister music over Judah. I was minister music over United. I was I'm an associate at the church, Sunday school teacher. So I was doing and in school. So I'm getting hit in all directions. Mm-hmm. And Crystal was like, "You gonna have to let something go. Yeah, you gonna have to tell these folk no." Right. Why? Because it's becoming to the point that you're never at home. Yeah. I don't see you. And what's most important is your relationship with God. Not telling people no can get in the way of your relationship with God. Yeah. Those times you're supposed to be spending with the Lord, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna help Joe blow out this time. And God is like, listen, I don't mind you helping people, because that is what God wants us to do. Mm-hmm. He wants us to help, but he doesn't want us to be toxic help. Right. There's a difference between being help and toxic help. Help is building up where people are building. Toxic help is having handouts and people not building up themselves. Yeah. So we got to get to a place to where we tell people no. And that's the most uncomfortable situation, because we got to tell no to the people that we dearly love. Yeah. You know who I'm talking about. You got to tell no to your brother. You got to tell no to your sister. You got to tell no to your mama, and your mama gonna throw this back in your face. Or your parents. I remember when I was there for you. I remember when you was small. I appreciate your mom and daddy. I appreciate you. Thank you. I didn't have to be here, but thank you so much for assisting me, for getting me to a place. I can't do it. I got a family. You're gonna have to tell people no, and it's okay. And I know this is one of the hardest things, especially for folk that got a heart that love people. It has to happen. Yeah. It has to happen. So many people have died from heart attacks and strokes, not because they wasn't healthy. They wasn't getting no rest because they didn't learn how to say no. You gotta say no. Your health is important. Listen, I can't do it. I have to get some rest this weekend. Mm-hmm. I can't do it. I gotta spend time with my family. They're so important. A lot of people miss out on what God is doing for them because they won't say no. Many pastors and preachers, listen, and this is gonna sting. We gotta turn down some engagements because we gotta spend time with our families. What do you mean? There's been times where I say, listen, I appreciate you for the opportunity, but I can't preach for you this Sunday because I got to be with my wife and family. You're going to have to tell people no. That is one of the best things that I've ever experienced when I first opened my mouth and said, nah, I can't do it. I got free. Mm-hmm. Especially during the pandemic, I found out that I was doing so much stuff that didn't amount to nothing. Mm-hmm. Just doing stuff. Yeah. And now I'm sitting back relaxing, and I, relaxing and spending time with my family. I found out what's most important. What's most important to me is my relationship with God. Okay. My family, everything else. You mean music? I love music. Listen, I love music. But everything else. Because listen, most importantly is my relationship with God. And once my no's get in front of God, once my yeses, oh yeah, I'll be there, gets in front of God, it becomes idolatry. Not saying no can be an idol. And so how many times have we made an idol because we want to help our brother and sister out when God says, no, let me handle it? I'm preaching to myself. There's been so many times to where I've been I gotta help everybody. I gotta be. It's okay to help, but not try to be God trying to help somebody. You're limited. You cannot be omnipresent. Stop running yourself rampant. Okay, I can pencil you. If you penciling folk in, you're doing too much, and you're not getting paid. It's not a job. You're doing too much. Right. If you gotta pencil somebody in your schedule, you're doing too much. Yeah. Take some time. Take a list and see what is on your list. Is it contributing to your life? Is it contributing to your family? Is it contributing to your relationship with God? If the answer is no, snip. It gotta go. We gotta learn how to get to a place to say, no, I can't do it. Yeah. And we ain't gotta say it like that. If somebody asks you, hey, we got a new artist coming in town. Blah, 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 blah. I want you to play keys for me for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I can do Saturday. But bro, I can't do the other day. I got a family. Say no. Yeah. Go ahead, P. My fault.
No, hey, that was on point, bro. But over here at the Lounge Talk, we like to keep it 100. And I think the key is still
I like that. Let me see what he said. No gives me time to work on me.
Straight up.
Thanks.
Straight up. And it's crazy. You mentioned that Pastor Jack is over here. I like to try to give something that's relatable. And shout out to my brother-in-law. I know he's going to watch this later. But, and he'll get this. And y'all going to get this too. But I'm going to give y'all a picture. I'm going to go out the scene real quick. And I'm going to come back. All right. It's the new me. So, of course, I got my little mask on, right? Imagine this is a gun, right? And I got it to my own chest. It's a stick up. When you don't say no, you robbing yourself.
What?
Put your hands up. So yes, sir.
Wow.
We got to get to the point to where we start robbing ourselves, right?
Wow.
Because it's not healthy. It goes back to mental stability. After the mental, the physical starts following up. So let's stop robbing ourselves of time, money, energy, and be as honest as possible. And this might come out harsh, but it's too many people, and I used to be one of these, but not literally what I'm about to say, but too many people got their cape on, trying to be, this Captain Save-A-Ho. You always out here trying to save everybody from problems or whatever they got going on. You're making I think I've heard it said, somebody's urgency becomes your emergency.
Wow.
And that ain't how it's supposed to go. We are supposed to shine a light as best as possible. But there's nothing wrong with independence, right? Sometimes it can have a negative connotation depending on where you at mentally. But it's our job to be solid, independent individuals. We're not supposed to be half full. We're supposed to be super solid, right? So if somebody does lean on us, it doesn't take away. And we're so aware, as Pastor Jagger said a few weeks ago, we're aware of what's really going on, and we're able to be what's needed at opportune time. And that could be either being there physically, or that could be being there having the words to give that person in order for them help them to become more solid individuals. And like we said last time before, you have to build relationships in order for things to be received. If I don't have a relationship with you, it's hard for you to probably receive something from me. Right. You'll be like, oh, I'm just another commercial that you see on TV to a degree. All right. But if I take the time out to build something with you and vice versa, you build something with me, then whenever we interact and we exchange conversation/energy or whatever, then when something is said or done, it'll be held on to. I think it's Maya Angelou, one of her quotes is something, people might not remember what you done, but they always remember like how you made them feel. I think that's the quote. Y'all can probably put it in the chat or whatever. I know y'all know it's a lot of quotes I don't remember, but Maya Angelou has some very powerful poems, but she always spoke too on as believing in oneself and still helping everyone else, but not to a point to where you're depleted. Being in a depleted state is very dangerous, because then you'll start taking stuff out on people who don't even deserve it, or they don't even know what's going on with you, and then you just blasting off. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Brother-in-law Sean said, don't let people's expectations keep you as a yes ma'am or a yes ma'am. So basically he's saying quit being that yes ma'am, yes sir all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Because what they say, if you don't stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything.
Right.
So it's basically having that concept. So we have to have at least some type of standard. As James was speaking on Jesus Christ earlier. Jesus Christ. There was a standard. He said, not my will, let your will be done. And a lot of us operate on our own will. Not only on our own will, but on our own feel.
Ooh.
And sometimes we allow our emotions again
Bruh.
to be our masters, to make the final say, make the final decision, and that is tumultuous. Just look at our society. Not no diss to a lot of brothers and sisters who are locked up right now, but I remember watching a few documentaries. This cat was like a 5-minute altercation turned into 35 years off of how he felt and how he executed on it, whooping the brakes off of somebody, or shooting somebody. Like here in our city, man, it's so much violence, you know, because young kids and the adults, nobody's being held accountable, or even maybe know how to be held accountable
Right.
for their own mind and their actions. So things like this, the lounge talk, or whatever you guys are doing at your house, may it be constructive, because the light and the lifestyle you live outside your house and in this world, it affects somebody. So allow us to spread more love, because that's what God called us to do.
Question, Pete.
Yeah.
So, and this is deep, because a lot of us, this no can go in 30 different directions. One direction is telling your partners that you know ain't doing the best of situations, and you know they're running the block at night, and things that you're trying to get to, goals that you're trying to achieve, that you know that you can catch a charge, and you're out with your homies. You got to tell them no, man. And listen, that's hard for us brothers, man.
Yeah.
Cause we down for the homies.
Yeah.
We down for the bros, and we down for our set, but those individuals ain't trying to achieve nothing. They trying to stay in the street life.
Right.
And you got kids now, bro. You got a family, and that life ain't for you no more.
Right.
Listen, it wasn't for you in the beginning, but now you really got people to live for. You're going to have to put your foot down and say, no, I'm not with that no more.
Yeah.
Listen, I love you, but listen, let's come out together. But no, I can't do this no more.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be out to 2 o'clock in the morning with no purpose, man.
Right.
I can't be out to 3 or 4 o'clock with no purpose, coming back and put my people at risk, man. I'm gonna tell you no.
Yeah.
And no is a protection for you, and it could be a protection for other people connected to you. Because I can't always say I'm a good dad or a good husband if I'm never here.
Right.
Joe Blow, this is me and my wife's time. I can't do it.
Right.
Joe Blow, this is me and my kids' time. I can't do it. Neglect has been detrimental to children's lives. It's been detrimental to spouses, marriages. You're gonna get to a place to where you say, "Nah, I can't do it, homie.
Yeah.
I can't do it." It's gonna save you some. It's gonna save you a marriage. It's gonna save you a relationship with children. It might save you some time that you don't have to spend in the pen because you didn't say, "No, I'm good, bro." Learn how to say no, and it's uncomfortable because sometimes we saying no to people we've been cool with for 20, 30 years.
Right. Straight up.
Folk that we willing to go to the grave for. You have to tell them no. And it hurts, but we got to get to a place to where God is building us up into a different area of our life. And we got to say, listen, bro, where God is taking me, I can't go that way. Where God is pushing me, where God is drawing me to go, listen, that path is leading to destruction. So I'm going to have to tell you, nah, bro, I can't do this with you no more. No, I can't run the streets with you and mess with the ladies like that. I got my lady at the house.
Right.
I'm a preach faithfulness.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do right by her because she's holding me down. I'm gonna hold her down.
Right.
I gotta take care of my kids. I'm gonna work this 9 to 5, even though it don't pay as much as the streets do. I can go to sleep at night because I don't have to worry about sirens in the background coming after me.
Right.
So now I can just work my 9 to 5 until God pushes me to an entrepreneurship that is kingdom minded.
Yeah.
So listen, sometimes you got to tell people no for your own benefit.
Yeah.
It's going to come back around. When you say yes all the time and you follow suit all the time, you're, like P said, you robbing yourself of life.
Yeah.
You robbing yourself of life. There's so many people that went to an early grave because they didn't say no.
Boy.
Everybody ain't meant to die at 17 and 18.
No.
Hello? Everybody is not meant to die at a young age.
Man.
Psalms 91 says, the Lord says, those who live in the shadow of the Almighty, with long life I shall give you and show you my salvation. It's not meant for people to die at an early age because they didn't say no. It's not meant for you. Mm-hmm. So many people are in the grave right now, fresh with ideas, fresh with purpose, full of potential. Dr. Miles Monroe said this: there's the most potential, the most breakthrough, the most the best doctors, the best lawyers, the best preachers, they in the grave because they allowed themselves to be full of potential
all day,
and they didn't empty themselves.
Right.
Just because they didn't say no.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, bro, we're gonna run this block one more time, and that one more time be the last time.
Yeah.
Y'all, we got to get to a place, and this is for not just for folk in the streets. Listen, you got to sometimes tell people at church, no, I can't do this ministry no more. God is leading me somewhere else. Mm-hmm. What?
What?
What? What? Listen, we got to protect ourselves. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to respect your time if you don't respect it.
Boy.
Nobody's going to respect your purpose if you don't respect it. Nobody's going to respect you as an individual if you don't respect yourself as an individual. If you don't feel like you're worth nothing, nobody else going to feel like you're worth something. You got to tell people, nah, I can't do it. I got destiny that I'm trying to get to. Listen, I understand. I appreciate you. I don't mind helping sometime, but where God is taking me, nah. No can save your life. No can elevate you. Mm-hmm. When you say no and yes to God, it will change your life. So sometimes we gotta say no, and I know it's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I know it's uncomfortable because I know you had to tell your sister. Right now, you're thinking, man, I gotta really tell my sister. And I'm not saying you can't help your sister out, but what I'm saying is, if your sister is totally dependent and you get in the way of God, you gotta tell her no, and that's gonna be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
because you and your sister tight. You and your brother tight.
I'm telling you, man.
Hey, you and your BFF, y'all tight. Y'all go back since the diapers. Y'all tight. Mm-hmm. And y'all ain't never said no to each other. But where God is taking you now,
yeah,
you're going to have them uncomfortable topics, them uncomfortable situations.
Very much so.
See, a lot of us are afraid of confrontation. I used to be that type that I was afraid of how somebody's going to react. You got to get over that. Yeah. People going to be mad. Folk going to be mad.
Yeah.
Is a peace of mind worth is not having a peace of mind worth somebody liking you? Having a peace of mind and somebody mad and they'll get over it is worth everything. Tell folk no, man. Yeah. Tell them, no, I love you. No, I can't make it this weekend. Hit me up next time.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And listen, on the flip side, if somebody tell you no, oh man, after all I did for them, man, after all, because we expect people, that's because we done poured ourselves on everybody. Then they tell us no, we get mad. Learn how to say no.
Yeah.
And you won't be upset. Mm-hmm. Stop pouring yourself out on all these people, expecting it to come back in return. Mm-hmm. They're not going to give you the same. Listen, I've learned this in my 32 years, almost 33 years of living. What I dish out 9 times out of 10 ain't going to come back the same way I dish it out, because I'm a different type of person. Mm-hmm. I help people and I love them. And listen, I don't help people for them to help me back. Right. I help people because God helped me. I can't return the favor to God. Yeah. You know, I can do my part, but I can't repay God for what he's done for me.
Boy.
So a lot of times we do that based out of love, and love by itself. So stop doing favors for people, expecting somebody to do a favor for you. You're going to be mad when you do a favor for somebody, then you turn around and ask and they say, nah, I can't do it. After all I done did for you, Cup. You'll be so blessed when you figure out.
Yeah.
No is for your mental health. No is for your purpose. No is for your destiny.
Yeah.
Y'all, we got to get to a place that we can say that word no. Go ahead, P. My fault.
Yeah, no. That's 1,000. I like to relate certain things we do and topics we just come to mind, and this is all off the top of the dome. But I don't know if all those who ever seen the movie Boys in the Hood, and the name slips my mind, but not the part where Ricky got popped. Ricky, that was sad, but it was the part where they was finna go get revenge.
Right.
And Trey was in the back. They was riding, and he was ready to throw them things and lay them shots out.
He about to throw them
But he was so cool, right? And I wanted to start it off by saying decisions. One of my favorite sayings is control what you can control. Everything else, don't worry about that. You can't control a person's expectations. You can't understand all the time a person's mindset or where they at. Because sometimes, like I said before, they're not able to be fully aware or understand where they are themselves. So control what you can control. Like I say, if you help somebody out, don't expect nothing in return. One of my favorite sketch comedies was Mad TV back in the day. And they had a segment on there called Lowered Expectations. And it was like a little dating thing, but it was people with like super low standards, or that was like crazy wild people. But when you lower your expectations, it really gives you that peace. Because when you're expecting certain things, you almost set yourself up for failure. I tell my kids all the time, and my pops used to tell me this, is everything not gonna go the way you want it to all the time. It's about 95% of the time it's not gonna go the way you want it to. You can plan for it to, but don't mean it's gonna work out that way. But make the decision like Trey did when he told his cuz, "Hey man, pull the car over, man. Pull over, man." He was like, "What? Like, we finna go ride on these fools." Nah, man, pull over, man. He pulled over.
Trying to catch a body.
Hey, man, and what I love about that small interaction, even though it was a movie, stuff like that happens every day, but they had a relationship with each other, and they understood. And Trey was really thinking about thinking about his future going further, right? And his cuz respected him enough, like, I know cuz ain't about this life. I'm going to go ahead and go handle it because my life messed up anyway. I'm going to do whatever's necessary. But the point I want to get back to, and James hit on this, is your environment, right? Since we still on the movie topic, Trey, in the beginning, he was living with his moms. And shout out to all those moms who, are raising their children, by themselves. But hopefully there's some father figure around that's helping in the process. Even though you might not know it, it might be a teacher at school, it might be cat at the YMCA, at the Boys and Girls Club or something, or it might be some deacons or some fellow men at church, hopefully, that are pouring into him. But in the movie, Trey lived with his mom most of his life till he got to, I think he was in high school, I want to say. Then he went to go stay with his pops, which was Lawrence Fishburne, and I really appreciated his role in there because he was firm. All right, he wasn't my daddy, but he came off like a father figure, and he was giving game to Trey. And going back to the point I'm making, it was the environment. He really poured into his son and told him, "Hey, yo, they want you gone out here. So it's up to your best decision to do the total opposite of what they displaying on these commercials and in society, quote unquote, the culture, right? The culture will eat you alive depending on what part of the culture you take from, right? I mean, since we kind of relevant, and I thought about this today. No, I'm not as super young, but I kind of keep my ear to the street. It's been so many people losing their lives. A lot of kids, like we've lost favorite rappers, quote unquote, over the time. Tupac, Biggie's, Nipsey Hussle he got a documentary coming out. R.I.P. to these people. And recently was that boy Takeoff from the Migos, rapping all fast and stuff. And what's so crazy is he seemed like he was the most calmest, coolest cat out of the group. But it was environment for all these guys that was the demise and had their lives ended, shortly. Of course, when it's your time, it's your time. We don't know the day or the hour. And a lot of these cats was living their lives to the fullest. But environment is key because depending on what environment is, you don't know what the intentions of everybody who's in the room, especially if the environment might be a little dark and dismal. But if you in a place to where, like, for me, if I'm at James' crib or we out and about, I know we straight, right? Because we keeping our eyes on swivel, and we not finna be with no riffraff. And if some riffraff, quote unquote, do escalate, we de-escalating it. Are we doing like David Blaine and we doing magic tricks and we out? You don't even see me. Now you see me, now you don't. Straight out here, what's that boy, Ricky Bobby? Magic Man, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gone. Now you see me, now you don't. So, but there's certain environments where like, probably don't need to go there. You know what I'm saying? If they there's nothing wrong with going to, you look, clubs and stuff, but know the surroundings, know the areas. I tell my people, anybody I love, pay attention to your surroundings, man.
Real talk.
It's crazy. I was looking before I got here, and I heard it on the Ricky Smiley morning show. I think it was a shooting on a campus. What's that? Was it Virginia, I think?
Yeah, I think 3 people got killed.
Yeah, 3 football players, 3 brethren, and I'm not for sure where they were at, man, but it's just sad, man, because not only are their lives gone, but now the families have to deal with it, right? And it's all about environment. And I think it was a player that used to be on the team that
He's a former
player that committed the craziness, the crime. And just think if that young man, as me and James spoke, and which is one of the purpose of the lounge, is being able to have a place to where, especially for men, love the ladies, but especially for men to unwind, to maybe gain some type of clarity, to have an outlet.
Right.
And letting everybody know there's nothing more. There's not there's better feelings, but one of the greatest feelings in some instances is knowing that you're not alone. You're not the only one going through it, right? And going through it ain't necessarily all negative, right? Just like James said, yet God allowed the thorn to still be there, so you can learn from it, so you can become stronger. I think I heard Miles say too, Monroe, he was like, faith is only what you've been tested, right? You can only be battle ready if you've been tested. I can't come out here rookie and just go straight to war.
Right.
I got to go do some type of training, some type of pain and agony. I need to get on some type of weight program, something, in order to be ready for war. And then in those times of where it's uncomfortable or there's resistance, man, somehow God works it out to where, and that's if you're really tapped in, because it can become a whirlwind and chaotic, but if you're really leaning on God and really having the faith, then you'll start actively doing work in order to become a better individual. Your will be removed and his will will come through. Some pastors, preachers always say, I used to laugh at it because it was poetic, But it's very true, especially when things get real crazy. But some people, when they stand up, they say, Lord, allow me to decrease as you increase. Let me get out the way. Right? And if you truly believe that, then you'll start seeing results out the wazoo. It'll be a real overflowing, and you'll start becoming more of a whole person. Like I said time before, you'll start getting a peace that really surpasses all understanding, and you'll be able to give to people in a healthy way. Right? Like James said earlier, you don't want to be the person stopping things for the other individual. You don't want to play God. God don't want you to save everybody. He said, I done already done that, pimp. You ain't got to do that. I done already saved. That person has to make the choice to learn the process.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I can't go on a new job and go in there trying to tell everybody what to do. I'm in the mail room, but I'm trying to tell the CEO. I'm trying to tell the CEO, in order to make this work, you need to do this, you need to do that. And he's gonna be like, boy, stop. I'm the CEO, I'm the boss. What are you talking about? I started this barbecue. So we have to be honest with ourselves, and it's a shirt I get, and people say this all the time. You really have to trust the process. You know what I mean? Things don't happen overnight. It's a grind, right? But in order so you won't become depleted, you got to take care of yourself. And the small steps is like tonight's is saying no.
Say no. Oh, Fat Jacket. As Jacket said, the dilemma of the servant. I'll help anyone, but I can't help everyone. Spit that fire, Pastor Jacket.
Yeah.
Crystal said, stop pressuring, folk. I think that's it. Danny said, shout out to Reeves. What's up, Doc?
D. Reeves.
Assertiveness, sir. Shout out to everybody that came on tonight. Two things, well, really one, because it's getting late in the evening, as the Baptist preachers say. One thing that sticks out to me, and piggyback on what P said, when it's time to check out of here, when the Lord calls you home, he calls you home. Listen, y'all, I see it on Facebook and it irritates the snot out of me. And I'm going to say this, and I love everybody. Everybody ain't meant to die young. Just because it happens doesn't mean it was God's will. There's a scripture that says in Galatians chapter 6, verse 9, that be not deceived, God is not mocked. Whatever a man sow, that shall he also reap. He sows according to the flesh, that of the flesh shall he reap corruption. If he sows according to the spirit, that of the spirit shall he reap everlasting life.
Yes, sir.
And let us not grow weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. That's 6, 7 through 9, excuse me. So, one thing that stuck out to me was, if you sow according to the flesh, that of the flesh shall you reap corruption. There are people that sow according to the flesh and they reap what they sow.
Yeah.
There are people that are disobedient to their parents. They jacked up and they don't listen.
Man.
And their life get cut short. That ain't God's will for folk life to get cut short.
No.
But what happens is that we give room for the devil. The devil kills people, y'all. The devil does kill people. We give room for the enemy because we don't say no. We give room for the enemy to come in and wreck shop. It ain't, everybody ain't meant to die young. Everybody ain't meant to YOLO and die at 30.
Boy.
That ain't cool. God wants us to experience life. He needs us here to build the kingdom of God. And so one thing I want to encourage people on is that we get to a place though that we say no, not only just to say no to help benefit our lives, but to say no to it could save our lives potentially. Bro, man, tomorrow they're going to call you up to go kick it to a place that you know you shouldn't go. Just say no, man. Be a square. It's okay to be smart.
Yeah.
It's okay to be smart, get the books,
Right.
get that degree. It's okay to get that trade, to be a plumber. You ain't got to hit the streets. It's okay to get your CDL, be a driver, get that good money. There's good money to be made. There's good money, legal money, and godly money. You ain't got to be broke and serve God. Who told you that?
Right.
You can be smart, bookworm,
Yeah.
and do right. There's always a process. There's always good to those that do right. You can go to sleep at night. One thing I love about going to bed is I got peace.
Yes,
I got
sir.
peace, man. I got God covering me, and I got peace. For the hand of God is over my life. I'm cool. I go to sleep. I ain't worried about nothing because I know God is covering me with his blood. I'm an overcomer by the blood of the Lamb and the word of my testimony. According to the scripture, God is covering me. God is keeping me. God is protecting me. So I don't worry about stuff. Now, when I'm outside of the will of God, that's when I need to start being shaky. When I'm outside of the will of God, because now I have an open invitation for the devil to do what he wants in my life. And so I want to encourage people to learn how to say no. Tell people no. Tell people no. No is going to benefit your life. When that lady says, hey, you want to go to lunch with me? Your wife won't know. No. Because if somebody catches you with maybe something innocent, you may lose your marriage over something that you could have said no to. Just say no, y'all. Say no. Say no. So today, I want us to put in the comment section, it's okay to tell people no. I want y'all to put that in the comment section. It's okay to tell people no. It'll save your life. It'll save your family. It'll save you, period. I'm not telling y'all can't help people. That's not what I'm saying. Because we're here to help each other. We're here to build each other up. But we're not here to be God to folk. Because we're not God. All right? Get out of God's way. Allow God to minister to other people. You have to tell them no. You got to tell your brother, your sister tonight, listen, I know I said I loan you $4,000, but I can't do it this time. Because God, I'm getting in God's way. Every time you ask for something, I'm getting in God's way. Tell them no. Tell mom and daddy, listen, I can't do it this weekend. I need to get some rest. Mm-hmm. Tell them no. It's okay, y'all. Say no. It's not being disrespectful. It's not being disrespectful. I promise you. It's building you up. I love y'all. Any last words, P?
Yeah, man, I'm going to say this one thing, man. Our emphasis all the time is the purpose for this is to have an outlet, but to help people become strong individuals. One of my favorite singers is Layla Hathaway. She has a song called Mirror. If you got Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Google it, whatever, go check it out. But I'm going to read this first verse, right? It says, bitter hearts don't hold a smile. Troubled minds will wear you down. Use your past to get ahead. Hold your tears and think instead. Have to find a way to make it. These clouds are letting up for a while. Sometimes you gotta make the mirror your best friend. And maybe you'll find some peace within. Stop hiding yourself. Love yourself when no one else can. If we would all take the time out to, when we get up in the mirror, sometimes I know we get up and rush, but just take the time out to look at yourself in the mirror. It's scary sometimes if you're not used to doing it, but look in the mirror when you're washing your face, brushing your teeth. I'm thinking about that Maxwell song, wherever, where this dude is actually like literally brushing his teeth for the music video. But the point I'm trying to make is when you look at yourself daily in the mirror, there's an intimacy that you have with yourself that nobody else can feel that space. You got to know yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses. And I use that time for myself. I'm speaking to y'all, but I use that time for myself too, to start the day off refreshed, to make sure that I'm going to have a righteous day, because I know I'm going to be tested. The world wants to see me fail. The world wants to see you fail, but start making the mirror your best friend. And I just read the lyrics. Go listen to the song. It's going to make way more sense. Layla got some of the best vocals in this world. But love yourself, because that's where it starts. One of my favorite songs, when we was growing up, James, we are not too far apart in age. And I know y'all know this too. I thought about this last pod we had, but my boy Arthur, the song says, "Hey, what a wonderful kind of day. We can learn to work and play and get along with each other." That song is hard. Go listen to the Arthur theme song. I think that was done by one of the Marleys, matter of fact. But it's really very, very vital, very important that we continue to show ourselves love, build ourselves up in order to get to a healthy place in life. Health is wealth. That's what everybody's saying nowadays. I'm glad everybody's waking up, becoming aware of that. And a healthy self, if you break it down, is heal thyself. Mm-hmm. So do the work. Everything in life requires work. Even when you don't do work, it's laziness, it's work. Right. So do the work that's actually going to produce something that's going to change your life and your situation.
Word up, word up, word up. Listen, y'all, thank you. Thank you again to the Urban Dr. P. Hey, it's your boy James. And thank y'all for joining the Lounge Talk. For sure. It's okay to say no, y'all. Say no. Join us next time.
Kids, don't do drugs.
Yeah, please don't. We don't want to catch you out there slipping.
Okay.
Listen, y'all, join us on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. for the Lounge Talk. Listen, I love you guys. I praise God for you. And like I say all the time, let us build the kingdom of God together. Peace out. Love you. Have a great rest of the week.
Peace.